We're live.
Do we need to bring it closer?
I don't know. So we're live. If anybody's watching this, I don't think anybody's watching this at the moment, which is quite like a couple of people are now watching this. So what you're seeing is Troy Francis, James Tusk, international dating coaches, live in London together because James is here for a few days. And we're going to talk about basically seduction via tactical empathy and how to really get inside a woman's head and really influence her and create emotion, create drama and so on. Alexander Good's here. Mr. Good, welcome. Hope all is good with you. Well, let me just do this. It's a bit like...
Can the great unwashed hear us? If you're watching, please comment. So yes, we can hear you, or no, we can't.
Yeah, the main thing is the volume of this actually any good or not?
Because we're in the Hilton Hotel in London Bridge. We've got Oasis playing in the background. So just let us know if you can actually hear. And if you can't, we can shift the location to the disabled bathroom or something like that.
Absolutely.
Volume is a little low.
Volume's a little low. Okay. You see, the further in, I mean, he's just had Botox done, so it's all right for him. I haven't, so the nearer we get, the worse I look. But I guess that's just part of the deal. So anyway, how long have you been back in England for? A couple of days?
3 days, and it's fucking cold. I was in Sao Paulo in 30-degree heat. Yeah. Surrounded by mountains of Colombian snow. And now I'm back with London
real snow.
Yeah, London drizzle on the streets, slush.
Yeah.
Back with the family on a detox and a health kick, and it's good to be back. It's always good to come back for a few days.
Yeah, well, I mean, people, us included, us mainly, have spent a lot of time slagging off London. I am largely based here, and
I like it as a tourist.
Yeah,
back as someone who doesn't live here.
Yeah,
I enjoy it.
It's a weird thing. I mean, I wouldn't say it's the easiest place for dating. There's a lot of competition here. There are good-looking women. There's also a lot of, fairly average people here as well. The competition is high for the top tier, like anywhere. But, you can make things happen. And it's a good city for other reasons. But, it's all nice and Christmassy at the moment. People are getting ready in the party season, whatever. But anyway, that's not really what we're here to talk about. What we're actually here to talk about is... seduction and the use of tactical empathy in that aim. Now, this is technically part of our course, The Edge 4. So, obviously, anybody who's on The Edge 4, and hopefully you're watching because we put it into our Telegram channel. If you ask questions in the chat, we'll prioritise you. So, we'll get you in first with questions. But other people are also obviously going to watch this as well. So, hopefully, we can just give you a little bit of value. So, tactical empathy, I mean, something we've talked about quite a lot. How would you define it in this context?
The ability to really understand someone else's viewpoint on the world, not how you perceive it to be, but actually trying to step into their shoes and perceive the world through them, which is a very powerful skill if you can cultivate that. It gives you a great understanding of, well, not just... from a seduction point of view, but from an influence and persuasion point of view, because everyone in your reality is the center of their own universe. Yeah. So what they really give a fuck about themselves, not you, right? We always talk about how to give less of a fuck about things you're doing in your life. The reality is people don't. People care about what they're doing. And from the perspective of how to actually get inside someone's skin, how to understand their hopes, their fears, their dreams, understand them as people, because that gives you the keys to the kingdom, because you can figure out in seduction from her point of view what she's missing and play that archetype of the thing she's missing from her life, right? And from a influence and persuasion point of view, when you really understand what drives people, what's the pleasure, what's the carrot, what's the stick, what's the pain, and that there are fundamental, consistent human drivers, but they're individualistic, right? When you figure that out, you have great power over understanding someone, because the more you can showcase that you understand someone's reality, the more influence, trust-based influence you have, because we're all desperately alone in the universe and we really want to feel listened to, and that someone else gets our point of view. That's what we really want.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time, I think one of the things is boredom, to be honest. I think a lot of women, particularly like attractive women, we look at their Instagram, we think, oh, she's living this amazing life, she's in San Moritz the whole time, she's on a yacht here and there, blah, blah, blah. And yes, she might be doing those things, but the day-to-day reality can be pretty humdrum, pretty dark. And I think that a lot of women, romance novels obviously sell incredibly well, 50 Shades of Grey, etc., etc. And it's like, I think women, more than men, really buy into that romantic fantasy, and like something different's happening. And that's why when I used to do approaches, even before work, commuter app for work, go up to a girl who's on her way to work and say, oh, you look nice, let's go over and say hello. It would make their day, because like how that never happened, and then suddenly some guys come over and compliment her, maybe, something, you exchange numbers, you start messaging, it's something exciting, something different. And that's definitely something that probably is missing in a lot of women's lives and a lot of men's lives as well. Their lives are actually pretty mediocre and boring. And if you can come in and be that character, that archetype where I'm the exciting guy, I'm the mysterious sort of devil may care, almost James Bondy type, in and out kind of person, that could be incredibly appealing. So maybe that's one example of it, I suppose.
I'm just concerned about the audio. As they've said, the audio not good, needs subtitles.
Yeah, we might have to keep this one short, guys. Really, I don't think
we could always abandon ship. And look, this is a really important area to discuss. There's a few techniques. One of the main influences, Chris Voss, FBI negotiator who spent 30 years as one of the top guys in the FBI, talking the bad guy out of the bank robbery, gun to the staff's head. His only option is death by police or spending life in prison, right? And this guy, through the power of his voice, was using trust-based influence tactical empathy to talk these guys out of the building, right? Well, saving hostage lives, so the principal supervisor we can kind of pass on and paraphrase are super useful for doing this, and combining that with Robert Greene's art of seduction principle, which is just getting inside the woman's skin, right? Understanding what makes her tick, what are her hopes, fears, and dreams.
Yes.
The more you understand the target, the woman or the person in general, the more you're able to understand what they crave, that they're missing in life, and then be that source of that pleasure.
Yes.
And it's actually something that a lot of guys struggle with, because they're so desperate on what do I want, what do I want, what do I want. They'll go and think they have to do all this crazy shit, seducing the girl, right? All this Russell Brand style risk. You don't actually. And most guys we teach are introverts naturally. They don't have a lot to say, but you can tactical empathy takes the pressure off you. You're focusing completely outwardly onto the other person, and you're reading their body language, you're reading their vibe, you're commenting it back to them, then you're making them feel really listened to, and you're opening up. The more the person is talking about themselves, the more they're investing in the conversation. Right? So these are very useful techniques we'll pass on that can be used by guys who don't naturally consider themselves big talkers, charismatic storytellers, or extroverts. So you can sit on the day and literally seduce the girl with one word.
And indeed, really, you want 80% of the conversation really to be about her rather than about you. So this dude, McLovin, are you sitting in the kitchen? I mean, I can't.
I'd love to have a kitchen like this, like an Arabian kitchen.
This backdrop looks the least like a kitchen out of any backdrop I can possibly imagine. We're actually sitting in a relatively upscale hotel bar in London, which is why the volume is not so good. So no, we're not sitting in the kitchen. If you saw my kitchen, you'd understand why.
What we could do is we could
go to my kitchen, and cook up some meth, and then
that would
I'm joking. We wouldn't do that.
Although apparently it's really hard to cook. It's like one of the hardest things to make.
Is it? Oh, really? So
we could resume this if the demand seems to be here.
There's a lot of noise of plates to cut. Oh, right. Well, because there's a restaurant next door. That's why.
We could either do it later tonight, in an hour or so, or we could do it tomorrow in the morning, London time.
Maybe we could do it tomorrow, possibly, and go somewhere quieter.
Or even just stream it for our respective abodes.
We could do, but I'm
not keen.
Well, I mean, what about this? When a girl has a different worldview, do you think it's good to stand your ground for sexual tension, or do you try to understand her and agree with her to get the pull? I mean, this sounds like, I don't know what you mean by worldview. This sounds like one of these guys who are saying, oh, I'm a real Trump supporter. Should I talk back about being a Trump supporter when the girls are liberal and all that bollocks? The answer, I think, is somewhere in between the two. I mean, I wouldn't, if you firmly believe in a specific thing, I wouldn't lie about it in order to try to get laid. I think that's disingenuous. At the same time, I think if you're talking about things like politics and your view on certain world events, I would also probably not really be getting into that on an early date because I don't think it's particularly sexy or particularly, like a guy was asking me on Instagram, should I be really polarizing and tell her I'm a Trump supporter? And I'm like, well, Trump is one of the most, he's, I think, the most popular president ever, and he's won the popular vote, and he's been elected twice. I mean, so it's not really polarizing to say you like Trump. You're actually saying, I agree with most other people in my country. So you're almost being anti-polarizing. I mean, it would be better to say, I didn't vote for either of those idiots, because I think both, what was her name? I think both the candidates, including Trump, are rubbish. And I just don't have any interest in that nonsense because they're both idiots. That would potentially be more polarizing. So I think if you're talking about politics, which you might be, it's just not really an area I get into. I don't really care. I don't really, I want to talk to, and again, we're talking about her dreams, her aspirations, her hopes, her fears, the things that drove her. What was her ambition when she was a young girl? What makes her the person she is? Those are the things we're interested in. Not, should we be? I don't know. What should we be doing about the immigration problem or something like that? I mean, it's like, why even go down that avenue?
I guess the way I interpret the question is, and I've done this before, I've been on the date. I don't really vibe on a deeper level with a woman because they're from very different lives. I was thinking when I was dating in the UK, it was a great example of this. Went on a date with a girl, only stopped for a minute outside the tube station, Holborn. She came on the date and she was a bit of a kind of superficial Essex girl. Didn't really have much depth to her. We weren't really vibing. But she was hot, aesthetically. And I wanted to fuck her. So, yeah, if the question is, do you sell your soul to the devil? And you're not really vibing with the girl and just kind of like pretend you are to get her into bed. It can work. Having done it a few times, though, I always have this kind of existential feeling of, oh, for fuck's sake. When you kind of force it a bit and you're not really on the same page. I wouldn't do it anymore. But the old horny me, who's just desperate to get laid at any cost, would have done it.
I think what I try to do is to find the commonality, because I believe that I'll often get people saying things like, these young women who are into TikTok with the Kardashians, and they're so superficial, and what can you possibly have to talk about them? And I think that's a slightly misanthropic view of humanity, because I think that just because a woman is 23 and she likes the Kardashians, she's still her own entity. She's still got her own consciousness. She's still got her own unique view on the world, right?
And energy, that's feminine energy. A very hot young girl. It doesn't mean you're not physically attractive.
Well, you're physically attractive, but also as well, like, again, she's going to have dreams. She's going to have aspirations. She's going to have thoughts. She's going to have feelings about things. She's going to have a view on things. It's your job to pull that out. If you're not pulling that out, and you're just sitting there thinking, this bird is just some superficial Instagram girl, maybe the issue's with you, because the skill of this, I think this comes back to the telepathy thing, it's our job as the guard to be like, okay, right, superficially this is you, but what's happening? What about under the surface? Now, yeah, of course, in some cases, you just don't have very much in common. You don't vibe. Okay, fine. But I think in a lot of cases, what I'm always trying to do is to find, okay, where is the middle? And often there is. Sometimes stronger than others, but you should be like trying to find that, I think, rather than. I certainly wouldn't recommend pretending to be somebody you're not just for the sake of trying to get laid. It's just not really,
It's what we do at the beginning because we're just desperate to get laid, but then after a while you're just like, fuck this.
Yeah, it's almost more fun to blow up the date in a way. I mean, again, I wouldn't recommend banging on about Trump or something, but I mean, it's almost more fun. I think friction on dates can be very powerful, and you don't have to agree on everything. Like if she says, I think Taylor Swift is the greatest musical artist ever to emerge in the history of the world, then you can say, I'm sorry, I just think that's absolute nonsense. I mean, yeah, she's got a couple of half-decent songs, but really, that's ridiculous to say that. It's fine to disagree on that. So, I wouldn't just agree with something, because actually, in a sense, that as he alludes to, that does somewhat create tension, because it's like, okay, this guy's a pushover, he's not to agree with everything I say.
So, do we keep going and going sexual empathy, or should we do it when it's slightly quieter?
We could possibly, I don't know, anyone got any comments on the audio now? Is the audio still bad? I'm imagining it is, because we also don't have a huge number of people on here.
We gave up on the idea mics, didn't we? We used to do the old Elvis Presley style
Well,
snowball, and
I could.
that went out with.
Yeah,
Do you still have one?
yeah.
On you?
Not on me now.
Yeah, we used to do that. They used to be quite good. I don't know why.
I got the old snowball. I think I kept getting stopped at airports because people thought it was a explosive device.
We could possibly do it when the audio is crisper because it is an important subject. I mean, it's one of the most important subjects. Is coming out of yourself and actually understanding the woman in front of you to seduce her. Yeah, everyone has their own seduction blueprint, right? So, yeah, it is an important topic to cover.
All right. Well, look, maybe we'll cut this one relatively short then. Has anyone got any final questions or comments or anything you want to?
Well, come to Rio. You know, that's the next big boot camp for the guys on the edge. You know who you are, Richie. Stop pretending you have stuff to do, and come out to Rio. It's the world's best party with myself, Troy, Joe, Les. There's a whole host. You know, the team is back together. It's 2 million, Brazilians coming or more coming to Rio going wild. It's the peak of the summertime in Rio. Smoke show women from all over, very few foreigners, and an excellent place to practice seduction skills. And you can get laid like a rock star. I mean, I've been going for 7 years, taking guys there who don't really get laid where they are, and they'll consistently sleep. Guys are consistently sleeping with 5 or 6 women a week from a position of not pulling ever, in the Anglo-sphere. So it's awesome. We're going to be there. The dates are at the boot camp, 26th of Feb to the 6th or 7th of March. Get in touch. We've got 6 guys coming, a couple of spaces remaining. It's going to be epic. It really is. And that's the next big boot camp we're running. And then back to Colombia and Mexico in April. But February, late Feb, Rio Carnival, that's the big one.
Yes, you should absolutely come to that. We also as well, we are running a smaller event in London around Valentine's Day as well, 14th of February. I'll give you some more information on that on a separate video probably. But if you're in London, you really can't make Rio. I would prioritise Rio for the vibe, for the quality of the women, for the whole experience. But if that's really not possible, but you are based in the UK, we will be doing something smaller in the UK around the 14th of Feb as well. So you can email me Troy at realtroyfrancis.com or info@jamestusk.com for more information on either of those things. But Rio is where it's at. That's what you need to be. Yeah,
BBC YCP321. What's up, James and Troy? Thoughts about Miami as a place to run a camp? Man, get on a plane, come over to Rio. It's way better. You get these hot Latin American girls that you probably met in Rio, but they're not wokified from being in Miami. And you're not competing with billionaires, and you're the shiny object because you're the foreigner in the Brazilian economy.
Yeah, so you need to. Yeah.
Sexual market dynamics, man. Sexual market economics. Get your ass over to Rio.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to Miami many times. I've talked to some guys over there. I was just talking to a guy who lives there earlier. I mean, it's there's some attractive women there. It's not optimal for dating at all. I mean, you compete with extremely high value rich men. Yeah.
For wokified women, right?
Yeah.
So, who are just kind of like, you've got to pay a lot to get into the play. Yeah. It's just like,
it's a very suboptimal place for dating. So, no, you need to get over to Rio.
Rio's the place.
Cool. All right. Well, look, let's cut it now. We've done about 20 minutes. We'll continue this tomorrow during the daytime. We'll try and give you a little bit of notice.
We'll put it out now.
Yeah. And
go into the details of tactical empathy, how to actually practically do it.
Okay. Good stuff. All right. Thanks for tuning in. See you later, guys. Bye.